Of the three clear bad teams in the AFL after 9 rounds of the 2023 season, West Coast's Adam Simpson is seemingly the only one being talked about his future for a couple of reasons. Number one, his long tenure. Can you imagine North getting rid of Clarko this early, or Hawthorn moving on from Sam Mitchell in that post-Clarko era? I think not. So those two are kind of escaping the AFL rile. But the Eagles are under more scrutiny, especially with their coach, considering that this has been a 2020 and further long problem. COVID really was the start of the Eagles' decline, with quite a bit of whinging at that point. Not that I can say that I blame them. But since then, West Coast have been on a steady decline that is culminating now in media and plenty of fans on social media as well, calling for either defending Simo very well or wanting him out the door very well. So let's throw my hat into the ring here. Should Adam Simpson be sacked as coach from the West Coast Eagles? Let's go. So let's start with some numbers, some just good old-fashioned numbers, and I'll throw them up on the screen right now. Now, they don't read well at all. And just in comparison, Fitzroy's last 42 games, they went 3-39. Now, anyone that reads that, hears that, and suggests that Fitzroy's future should also be the same for the Eagles is an idiot. West Coast are the richest club in the land. Trust me on this, they are. They're not going anywhere. I'm not suggesting they fold or they merge or any of that silly stuff. It's just a comparison between two footy clubs. Don't take it too seriously. They're both just facts. Okay, but there are reasons that this is going down. Not excuses, reasons. So if you definitely are in the Sack Adam Simpson camp, and fellow Daz Talks Footy subscriber, the first as it is and the most frequent guest on the channel, Smithy, is very much in the camp of wanting Simo gone. I don't think it can be as simple as that. If Simo is to go at some point, he can't be on his own. I'll touch back on that in a sec. Let's talk about the end of this year. Getting rid of Simo at some point before round 24, that still feels weird to say, would be ludicrous. Why would you give an interim coach, say a Jamie Graham, why would you give someone like that this list with this amount of injuries and go, all yours, mate, have fun? It would be silly. It would be stupid. It would be irresponsible, in my opinion, unless you're somehow getting an interim coach that doesn't want to be a senior coach, which then asks, why are you doing it in the first place? North did it to bridge the gap between David Noble and Alistair Clarkson with Lee Adams. Cool. Patch doesn't want to be a senior coach. He did it to help the club out. That's awesome. But they weren't decimated with injuries as such, and any win that North could get was great, was fine. But West Coast right now, pick one would be okay-ish. Harley Reid would be great for that midfield alongside Ruben Jinby at this point. The problem that the Eagles have got when it comes to when Adam Simpson should go is his contract. He still has, after this year, 2 seasons. How are those long coaching contract extensions going for premiership coaches? Well, really well, or really, really, really well? No, they're bogus. We need to stop doing this. But I've already had my rant about that in the past. Let's move on. How bad are the West Coast injuries? We keep getting told as fans, this is how bad their injuries are. They got a lot of injuries, yada, yada, yada. Let me put it into context for you. This list that I'm about to show you is missing Jermaine Jones with a broken nose and Jack Darling with a fractured arm, because they happened on the weekend. But those are the West Coast injuries so far. That's batshit. Let's be honest, that is not good at all. And we need to call into question the strength and conditioning stuff. Now, here is my little asterisk on this topic. I am not, nor have I ever been close to, a medical professional. I've never been to Perth. I've never seen West Coast's training facilities. So to make assumptions on the condition of those things would be pretty irresponsible. I'd have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But looking at raw numbers and raw data, which is kind of what I do on the channel and hopefully present it in a way that you guys find enjoyable, something ain't right there. Now, contact injuries and what we call unlucky injuries, they're going to happen at every club. They're happening at the Eagles as well. They had 2 of them on the weekend. How a strength and conditioning staff can be blamed for a broken nose and a fractured arm, I've got no idea, and that's certainly not going to come from me in this video or at any time in the future. there are real concerns here. I know Essendon have talked about it for a while, and in kind of a Victorian bias media, Essendon and Collingwood in the last sort of 5 years has copped it for their strength and conditioning staff with a lot of soft tissue injuries and a lot of repetitive strain injuries. So West Coast, this Vic bias media thing might not be so bad when the negatives aren't really being shown on screen that often, although I'm a big fan of giving every club equal time as best that I can on the channel and attacking as many topics as I can. The AFL media are getting paid for this and they're not doing it, and that kind of shits me. But let's get back to the topic at hand. Simo, at the end of this year, let's say they get rid of him, right? Who are you bringing in? Clearly you want to bring in a coach that you think is going to deliver the next flag. If that's not your goal as a football club, I mean, I've got some questions that would be really, really silly. But how is another coach at the end of this year going to rebuild this footy club? And the reason why I say that is apparently Jack Darling is being looked at by other clubs. So you're giving Oscar Allen no one, who really has been one of the shining lights this year for the Eagles. So Oscar Allen's not going to have an experienced centre-half forward. They don't really have a quality small forward group because Jamie Cripps, like I say, is injured. Liam Ryan, I've already said Jamie Cripps. Jake Waterman's had some good games, not denying that for a moment, but they're still lacking that X factor in their forward line. They're not getting any kind of transition run from their wings. Jaden Hunt's been okay on the wing, and at half back, I'll put my hand up. Maybe that recruit wasn't as bad as what I thought it was at the start of the year. And Jermaine Jones has been awesome rebounding off half back, but he's now got a broken nose. Their key backs are in a bit of trouble as well. Jeremy McGovern, yep, he's sticking around for the long term, but he's on the wrong side of 30. Barris is very, very good, and they are developing Rhett Bazzo. But is the 2 years that Simo's got left, is that going to be any different under a new coach? Well, maybe. But the problem that we've got is, are West Coast prepared to take the soft cap hit to get Simo out the door and the new coach in? That is the only question that needs to be asked. Getting rid of Simo before the end of the season is ludicrous. So let's answer the question. Should Adam Simpson be sacked? Not yet. Not yet. End of the year, I'm more than happy for them to go, Simo, you won us a flag, thank you very much. 2 years left, we'll come to a payout agreement and bang. Get a new coach in, get a new young coach in, get a bit of breath of life into this football club and continue to go. You know, wouldn't Adam Uze or Daniel G. and Siracusa really suit this group? Would they want the experience of Jamie Graham? Potentially. Who knows? But what we do know is a football club this good can't be this bad for this long without consequences. But if Simo goes, their medical staff need to go as well. It's as simple as that. If you're going to rebuild a football club, just putting a new man on the chopping block is not the answer. It can't be the answer. There are some mates behind him that need to go as well. It's as simple as that. Do West Coast need pick one more than Hawthorn and North Melbourne? In my opinion, yes, at this point. North had it, traded it. Hawthorn don't need another midfielder at this point. It'd be great to get a generational talent in. He ain't kicking it to anyone whose name's not Mitch Lewis at the moment, so that doesn't really help the Hawks in the short term. Long term would be great, of course. But West Coast right now, pick one would be great. Get Harley Reid in, a breath of excitement. Maybe a new coach in as well and a new medical staff to look after them. And hopefully, at some point, West Coast can rise up the ladder. These successful footy clubs being good is good for footy, even if you hate the Eagles. So if Simo goes, his mates in the medical department have got to go as well. What do you guys think? Comment below, let me know. I would love to hear from you. I'll see you in the next video. If you want to sign up to Patreon, you can. Patreon.com/DazTalksFooty. I'll see you on Wednesday night for something pretty cool. It's out.